Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I wanted to discuss the topic of resentment and how to get over it, because I believe that a lot of us hold on to resentment, and really all that's doing is holding us back from reaching our best potential, because we're holding on and nesting this negative energy, toxic energy towards someone, and most times that person isn't even aware that we feel this way towards them. So the only thing we're really doing is just holding ourselves back. So we really need to understand and let go of resentment to be able to just be happy and content. I recently heard a saying describing resentment, and I feel like that's the perfect way to really sum up what resentment is. And it's like drinking poison and hoping that the other person will die. That's what it is. You're just holding on to this negative toxic energy towards someone, and they're just walking around living their life. So what is resentment? Resentment is when someone that's close to us or just someone in our lives doesn't do, say, or treat us the way we expect them or we want them to treat us. So basically it's unfulfilled expectations. If you have a bunch of unmet expectations from someone, then you end up building resentment towards them. And what happens is that, like I said, most times the other person isn't even aware that we feel this resent towards them. Reason is that we all have our own rule books, and what's acceptable and expected of us isn't necessarily what other people or the rules that other people live by. So just because we feel a certain way about a situation or we expect to be treated a certain way in a situation, it doesn't mean that the other person will see that as the only way or as the right way. What's right for them may not be right for you, and vice versa. So that's why the only person resentment really hurts is you, because the other person hasn't got a clue. You're not communicating that to them. They're not aware that they're doing something that doesn't sit right with you, and yet every time you think about them, you build up these feelings of anger, hurt, frustration, disdain towards that person. And really, if the shoe was on the other foot and someone felt like that towards you, the first thing you'd want is, why didn't you tell me? So, of course, we know always treat people the way you want to be treated. So the first thing to do to address resentment is to communicate it. If you don't communicate what's wrong, then the other person will never fix that. And I don't mean just by saying, hey, I don't like this, and then expecting a change. Give them the time and the respect to explain what's bothering you, why it's bothering you, how it's making you feel, and that they should be more considerate towards you. And more times than not, whoever's around you, your friends and family, would most probably, once they realize that they've upset you, would probably fix that. And if they don't, after you've clearly communicated what your issue is, then that's a whole different topic, and we'll get into that at a different time. But this is about you letting go of this toxic feeling that you hold towards other people. So I'll give you guys an example of something that happened to me not long ago. And I feel like when this happened, I straight away started resenting my friend. And it was so important to me to kind of bring myself back to the moment and put things into perspective and really see what it is that's really bothering me. So my friend asked me not long ago to go shopping with her, and then that said she needed my help. She wanted some advice on buying something. So even though I had a shoot the next day, I thought, because it's not that late, I'm okay to go with her, and then I'll come back and I can have an early night. But what happened was, when we went shopping, she received a phone call from her sister, who then asked her to come and pick something up and drop it off to her other family member's house, and she then needed to stop for something else, and basically the list just went on and on. But while I was already with her and we were in town, so I didn't want to be difficult and ask her to drop me back home. So I just sat down in the car and we went doing all the chores that she was supposed to do that day. But as the day went by and I got more and more tired and it got more and more late, I really started feeling just resentful, like, how dare she do this? Doesn't she know that I have a shoot tomorrow? So I became very, very angry towards her. I was so frustrated, and I was thinking, she's so inconsiderate. She knows I'm working tomorrow, and here I am, it's late night, I have a bunch of things to do when I get home, and I haven't managed to do any of them. But in reality is that I didn't actually tell her that I had a photo shoot or that I wanted to get an early night. I just said, yeah, I'll come along with you and we'll go shopping. So when she had things after to do, she just assumed that I'm okay because I'm spending the day with her. So if I hadn't I could have easily said to her, you know what, can you please drop me home, or just let me go here, I can get myself home and you can carry on with your day. But I didn't communicate that to her. And therefore I built up a resentment in my head because I expected her to just know, or I expected her to be more weary of time and take me home. Like, I just had to take a moment in the last place that we reached, and she had to go and do something. When she got out of the car and I was sitting in the car, I just took a moment and I was about to lash out and be like, how dare you make another stop? I'm so tired. But I just had to bring myself back to the moment and think, well, does she know that I have work? Have I told her? And she said no. Have I made her aware of what's happening? You know, is she in the loop of things? No, she's going along doing her day, and she likes having a friend for company, so she assumed I'll be okay with that. That's my prerogative to tell her what I want and what I don't want. So I felt really angry and really annoyed, but when I thought of things, you know, her mind, she has 101 things to do. So many chores. The last thing she's thinking about is whether I have a photo shoot tomorrow or not. So her mind could be anywhere. It doesn't mean that it comes from a place of malice or that she wanted to purposely make me tired and keep me out the whole day. Things just happened. There was a lack of communication on my behalf. So I had to bring myself back and understand that this is my part to play, and I'm holding this resentment because I haven't bothered letting her know how I really feel. And instead, I'm just being angry towards her. So I told her I had photo shoots. She apologized and got me home straight away, and it was resolved. However, if I hadn't told her that and I didn't communicate and I lashed out, one, that would have probably obviously upset her. And secondly, if I didn't say anything at all and I left, I would have come home feeling like that is so inconsiderate of her, and why did she do this? I would never do that to her, etc., which really is nothing to do with her. So this is why it's so important for us to, if our expectations aren't met from people that we are close with, then it's the best thing to do is to communicate it. But also to understand that we can meet our own expectations. Even if she had chores to do, I could have easily removed myself from that environment and said to her, listen, I've got to go. I'm going to get a cab and I'll get myself home. If you're busy and you have things to do, please carry on. But I said I was going to come shopping with you, and we've done that, so I need to get home. So I should have met my expectations, and that's what we need to understand and realize, that that validation, the reason we get frustrated by someone not meeting our expectations and following our rule book, is because we then feel like our feelings are not validated. They're not important enough. It's one-sided. But if you're not communicating that, then that one, that's on you. And two, if communication's been made and no changes occur, then you shouldn't rely so heavily or give your power so much to someone else to give you that validation. That validation, that meeting of expectation comes from you. You set your expectations on you and you fulfill them, because you're the only person that really can and cannot let you down. So why would you count on anyone else when you're capable of doing that yourself? It is your job to look after you, but it's not anyone else's job, including your spouse, your parent, when you're capable and an adult yourself, for them to do certain things for you. So you shouldn't really put that expectation on other people anyway, because it's not their job to do things for you or say things to you, or things that you haven't communicated and you just expect them to read your mind. So think about it. What am I doing to create my own resentment? Now, how would you feel if someone else expected you to be able to read their mind, fulfill their needs and wants, meet their expectations, and do everything they expect you to do and do everything they want you to do. And if you don't, they're angry. If you can't read their mind, they're angry. Now, you wouldn't like that, because you would turn around and say, that's not my responsibility, it's not my job. Straight away, we're getting defensive. We wouldn't like someone else having these expectations of us. So it's the same thing for you. When you feel that of someone else, this is how you're also making them feel. You are being entitled because someone isn't living by your rule book. And that's not how it works. So be very conscious of the people around you and why they're doing the things they're doing and what you're doing about it. So when you feel really let down by someone, is that really their fault? Or is that you not being able to manage your expectations? So we need to be able to manage our expectations a little better. Know that the only person that could meet those expectations and make us genuinely happy is ourselves, and not to put this on other people. That's not anybody's job. So as soon as we accept and realize that and let go of this resentment, which is this toxic, negative energy that we've harvested deep inside us towards someone that hasn't got a clue, the sooner we'll make space. Look at all the real estate that's taking in your mind. Why are you giving it that much exposure and airtime in your head? It really doesn't deserve it, and it's something that we've created ourselves because we can't manage our expectations. So with knowing that and having these tools, I'm really hoping that you guys reach a place where you're not holding any of these negative thoughts and feelings towards people around you, especially when it's not really their fault. So, the more you hold this, the more you're absorbing it, the more you're drinking your own poison. And this is why I felt like it's really important for us to do this, because I discuss relationships a lot in my videos, and I feel like post-relationships, people still hold resentment for people, and people still hold resentment within relationships. So this is something that we really need to understand, that it's more to do with our expectations and needs than the other person. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like and comment on this video, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys here again soon. Mwah.